of the pending criminal and immigration cases. I'm not going to have him testify, and he's going to plead the fifth to any questions. So just that may give us a little bit more time, but I do have 3 witnesses that need to be heard.
What are they doing?
They're talking.
Oh. Yeah. All right, that stupid attorney's here to see door.
Already?
Yeah. Hey, quit. We gotta go
I can get you.
get an attorney.
I don't want to.
I'm gonna get the attorney to take us through the pot chase. This is what they did. There's a PDF for it. And right now, they're having a meeting while he's, it's kind of like the attorneys are having a talk while he's, yeah. That's why I don't think it's fair. I just don't think it's fair.
Well, I thought you had to be in person.
Audio, but I guess right now they're still on. The attorneys are talking to each other. I don't know who this lady is. Oh, she's trying to take it.
Ooh, I like that stuff.
I don't either. Like before, we were in the, when he had it, they were in the library. Well, this way, it's too.
What's going on? And I thought that they had to be.
Well, I think they are too, because I don't think it's quite there.
Más.
No, attorney.
They're still talking.
On the
No,
side.
todavía no, we are not finished. The judge is talking to the attorneys in chambers.
Yeah. Thank you.
No hemos acabado, la jueza está hablando con los abogados.
Sí, entiendo, gracias.
Yo creo que es problema con el teléfono, no con la botón. I told her, it's like I sent him messages already, and I think there's technical problems, not with the phone, not just the interpretation button.
Okay. Is Miss Juarez on the Spanish speaking channel?
Yes.
Yes, okay. Okay, so Miss Leon, are you ready? Okay, it's my Miss Willis, is your client, she's not here, correct?
Yes, she's not here.
Miss San Miguel, I know that the girls are from Honduras, but do we know, I mean, I have Mr. Juarez as an acknowledged father. Do we know, is he on the birth certificates down there? How do we know what type of dad he is, according to law in Texas?
Yes, he has paperwork. He's listed as the father.
Okay. Okay, good. Okay. Mr. Rogers, you want me to, do you want to say what the agreement is? You want me to say it? What do you prefer?
Honestly, Judge, I think you probably have all the details more than I do in this case, because we were still kind of discussing among ourselves while you were taking the notes. I've got some notes myself, though. I can add anything if we miss.
Okay. Okay. And just before we begin, to make sure Ms. Juarez, I'm saying, Miss Leon. Okay, thank you. Okay, it's my understanding that the department is to be named the temporary managing conservator of the 2 girls, that Mr. Juarez is not admitting anything, but he's also not contesting the temporary conservatorship of the girls. And that's mostly due to the fact that he is in jail, incarcerated, and that's just how it is for right now. Miss San Miguel is going to be visiting with Mr. Juarez's criminal attorney and finding out about the bond, the immigration hold, and a couple other things along those lines. Mr. Juarez, right now, it's my understanding that the placement of the girls is on a real, here in Llano, is on a real temporary basis. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna order an expedited, which that means a hurried, ICPC, that means it's an out-of-state home study on Elizabeth Caballeros. And I'm also gonna order, that's the kind of study that has to be done when somebody's out of state. But I'm also gonna order a, is he listening? Is he listening?
Sí, perfectamente.
Okay. Okay. I'm also ordering an expedited home study on Miss Cynthia Juarez, who is here today. And she's local, and I think she's a relative of Mr. Juarez. So we're going to have 2 studies going at one time, one in Florida, one here. Meantime, because the placement here is very temporary, I'm going to let the girls go on a 30-day visit with Miss Caballeros in Florida. Now, most Americans go on vacation or get to go places in the summer. And I still expect the girls to do chores. They will have rules. They will have my court rules. And they're going to have some things that they're going to have to do over there. But it's just a visit for now. I'm not going to order any placement of the girls anywhere else until I get these home studies back and read them and study them, and everybody else can read them also. I'm going to order that Mr. Heck, all parents always have to do service plans in CPS cases. After today, there's going to be a meeting called a family group conference. And at the family group conference, that's where a service plan will be developed. And I tell parents at every hearing, you have to comply with the service plan or your parental rights could be subject to termination. So what that means is that Mr. Juarez, the mom, Ms. Caballero, and Mr. Reyes are all going to have to do service plans. And those are like therapy, just different things that's going to be developed at that meeting. And since Mr. Juarez and Mr. Reyes are partners, this is important that Mr. Reyes do his service plan as it is Mr. Juarez. Department, good. And I know Miss Willis on another case found a speaking parenting class. So department, y'all need to get with Miss Willis and she can provide that information for you. And Mr. Reyes can start doing that class now since he's out and able to do things. When Mr. Juarez is no longer in jail, he can do that class also. I want the department to set up the girls into therapy ASAP, and that means 2 weeks. I know the girls speak Spanish, and that's going to be a little difficult, but y'all are going to have to figure that out. Whether it's somebody that is done through interpretation, we do it kind of like we're doing here. I know the girls are going to be on a visit in Florida, but y'all just have to figure that out. Let's see. Now, when the girls are in Florida, they have a curfew. And the curfew is 8 o'clock on weekdays and 10 p.m. on weekends. If they're out with some family members, or if it's approved by CPS and the ad litems, they can stay out later. But other than that, they can't just go roam the streets or do stuff like that. They do have a curfew. And also, they have electronic curfew. I want their phones, their iPad, any kind of electronics they have, they're to be taken away from the girls by 8 on weekdays and 10 on weekends. I don't want the girls staying up all night on their phones or doing crazy, doing stuff like that. And the caregiver is going to have to abide by that rule because it's the court's rule. It's not the caregiver's rule. Girls probably don't like that, but that's tough. That's just the way it is. Miss Juarez, Mr. Reyes, Mr. Juarez, the mom, y'all can visit electronically with the girls when they're in Florida, as worked out with the placement and CPS and items. It's also going to be up to the girls on who they want to visit too, because it's my understanding that they're a little, what's the word? Miffed or unhappy, and they're not really ready to start visiting quite yet. But since they're not going to be here, we're going to be visiting electronically for now. And if they come back to Texas, you know, after that, or when they come back to Texas after that visit, we'll do some in-person visits if the girls want to. Also, the visits electronically can include Mr. Juarez and jail if that can be worked out too, and if the girls want to. It's my understanding that the girls have previously been interviewed at the Williamson County Child Advocacy Center. If they were interviewed together, that's not going to make me real happy. But if they were interviewed together, they need to be re-interviewed separately with a Spanish speaking, I don't know what's the matter with his glasses, with a Spanish speaking interpreter or interviewer.
Judge, the only thing I had on my notes was
Sí,
children.
sí, lo estoy escuchando.
Yeah, I have that. I'm getting to that one. Okay.
Also, I'm hearing from CPS that the girls were not interviewed together. We can confirm that.
Okay. Yay, that's great. How long has he been on, Miss Leon?
5 minutos, creo.
Okay. Well, Miss San Miguel, still get with him and go over everything that we talked about. Okay. Now, this is really important, y'all. And
Okay.
there's a document called the Children's Bill of Rights that I'm going to have applicable to this case. And it's a couple of page documents, and it says what you can and can't do during the pendency of a family law case. You can't talk about the other family. You can't talk about the reasons the girls are in CPS. You can't say, you better watch out, you're going back to Honduras. You can't promise them, oh, as you girls come home, I'm going to get a new house. We're going to go to Six Flags. You can't promise anything. You can't talk smack about anybody. You just have to maintain the status quo. And what you can talk about is, how are you doing? How's Florida? Are y'all getting to do anything fun? What are you watching on TV? You know, you can't say, oh, we're having a great life here. We have this new house. We can't wait to get back home. Can't say anything like that. So I think there's a Spanish version of it. Miss San Miguel, if you can look, surely there is a Spanish version of it. If you can get that and circulate it to the Spanish speaking folks, that would be great. But it's really important, because if you violate that, that could affect placement with you, visitation, phone contact, anything. You just you can't get the girls all riled up to be scared to go back to Honduras, or be scared to come home, or be excited to come back home. You can't do that. Okay.
Judge, the only thing regarding the virtual visits, just we need to make that subject to the existing EPO, which I assume will be in place for too much longer, but nonetheless, just so that, you know, Dad doesn't get in any trouble for violating.
That's true. Mr. Juarez has an emergency protective order, and we talked about that at our last hearing. We don't want to violate that. We don't want to have to get him with another offense charged against him. So we'll work that out too. But that would not affect Mr. Reyes, Miss, any of the other folks' ability to visit with the girls. Okay, I need to write that down. Oh, well, y'all know that. Okay, anything else, Mr. Rogers?
No, Your Honor. Looks like Miss Lang has something.
Okay, well, she's last. Miss Willis, do you need anything else? No? You're muted.
No, I don't need anything else.
Okay, thank you. Ms. San Miguel, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, Ms. Welch? No? Okay.
Nothing, Your Honor, thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Lang?
So Judge, I was just reminded that the Aunt Cynthia Juarez declined placement at the time of the removal. And so that wasn't represented to us when Ms. San Miguel came in. I just would like to have reassurance for her, since she is present in the courtroom today, to hear that that is indeed she wants a home study, because I don't think the department was led to believe that, as she believed the girls were the cause of the problem. So if we could just hear from her that she wants the home study.
Yes, and when I spoke with her last night, she said that she requested to have the girls, but she was told that there was a reason why that they couldn't stay with her, but she wasn't told the reason. And that she would like the girls, but if we can ask Ms. Juarez if she can confirm that she would be willing to take the girls in if needed.
Okay, Ms. San Miguel, why don't you ask her? And Ms. Lang can follow up. And we need to make sure that what Ms. Lang said, you know, I don't want to get into a big I want her to support the girls and not have that kind of line of thinking or attitude that Ms. Lang was talking about, you know?
Ms. Juarez.
Sí, le escucho.
Okay.
Sí.
We can do a home study.
Doesn't she need to be on the Spanish channel?
Yes. Okay.
Dígame.
Yes. When we are, would you like to have the girls placed with you if possible?
Sí, está bien.
Is it okay for us to send someone to your house to ask you questions and make sure there's enough room and provisions for them?
Por el momento no tengo un espacio para proporcionarles, pero si ustedes me dieran la posibilidad de hacer algo ahí en mi casa, pues yo lo haría.
What would you do to be able to have room for the girls?
Es como un cuarto más.
So you have one available, but perhaps not situated for them. Is that what you mean?
No, no tengo un cuarto. Tendría que hacer una anexión más. No tengo un cuarto.
Are you saying that you would be willing to build a room? Is that what you mean?
Ajá, sí.
Okay. Okay. So when you were asked if you could take the girls in, did you advise that you are willing to take the girls in, but may not have room for them? Is that what you meant?
Yo le dije a la muchacha que me llamó, no recuerdo el nombre de ella, que yo sí estaba dispuesta a recibir las niñas. Y el muchacho que llegó, él me dijo que dónde iban a dormir ellas cuando ellas llegaran a la casa. Yo les enseñé el cuarto de mi niña, y el cuarto de mi niña tiene una cama que tiene dos colchones, uno abajo y uno arriba. Entonces él me dijo que estaba bien. Yo por eso al principio le dije que sí, que estaba bien aceptar a las niñas porque podían dormir en el cuarto de mi niña. Y él me dijo que estaba bien.
Okay, I understand. So you would like a home study in order to be able to take the girls in if possible, correct?
Sí, se hizo el estudio. Me imagino que el estudio cuando llegan a revisar si hay alimentos en mi refri, si mi casa está apta para poder tener a los niños.
The home study is going to be more detailed in the future. Someone will come out, ask more questions, and look at the house again.
Ajá.
But it sounds like you may just need another bed or bunk beds.
Pues mi niña tiene su cuarto. En su cuarto tiene su camita y en la parte de abajo tiene otra como tipo cama que se saca. No sé cómo se le llama ese tipo de cama.
Yeah, the trundle bed, yes, that, and I understand, and that's for one child, but there's two children, so they would each need a bed.
Okay.
Okay, Ms. Lang, did you have some questions of Ms. Juarez?
I do, Your Honor. So how many children does she have at home? Okay. And why did her husband tell the department y'all could only have the children for 2 weeks and then perhaps they needed to go to California after that?
No, nunca mencionamos California. Nunca. Tal vez, a veces cuando uno
So
habla
why
de-
did they say they could only keep the girls for 2 weeks though?
No, se mencionó, tal vez como le digo, se malinterpreta porque uno en el español es muy diferente cuando lo interpretan al inglés. Porque él no hablaba español, tuvimos que llamar a otra persona para que interpretara lo que mi esposo estaba diciendo.
Is her husband from Honduras?
Correcto. Ni un-
That's the only.
ningún-
Go ahead.
Sí, ni él ni yo hablamos inglés, entonces tuvimos que llamar a otra tercera persona para que nos interpretara porque la persona que llegó a la casa no hablaba mucho inglés, solo dijo que un poquitito. Entonces tuvimos que llamar para que nos interpretara lo que nosotros estábamos diciendo, pero nunca mencionamos que si después de 2 semanas él lo íbamos a mandar para California, no, claro que no.
All the questions I have, Your Honor, I'm just, concerned about doing a home study at this point in time for a home that doesn't have the capacity for these 2 girls.
Well, if there's a trundle bed, I don't have a problem with that. I mean, a lot of people sleep on trundle beds.
But we needed 2 beds. We need 2 places for the girls to sleep.
We can figure it out.
Okay.
But you know what? I'm going to order somebody to do a home study that speaks Spanish. It's not going to do any good to have a home study that's not a Spanish speaking person. Does Ms. Caballero speak English?
No.
No.
No, Your
No
Honor.
que yo sepa.
Okay, well, I can't really deal with out of state folks, but we'll see. I can hear. Okay. Well, I'll put that prefer there in Florida also. Okay, Ms. Lang, anything else?
No, Your Honor.
Okay, while we were doing questions, anybody else, any other attorneys or CASA think of anything else they need?
No.
No, Your Honor.
Ms. Gilmore, is this gonna be your case?
Yes, Judge.
Okay, real important to get the girl therapy, okay?
Yes.
Okay, we already talked about, let me say it again. Mr. Juarez, you'll have a service plan. You have to comply with your service plan or your parental rights can be subject to termination, okay? I know you're incarcerated now, but as soon as you get out, you can start doing your service plan. Miss Gilmore, I believe we have a Spanish parenting packet in Spanish. Don't we?
Sorry, Judge. I was trying to find the packet and I've been trying to figure that out for the last week. So I am on that.
Okay. Yeah, so we have a packet. Let's get it to Mr. Juarez. Miss Leon, look at your calendar, please.
Yes. Pero
That hearing
es
is
que no
on,
escucho, sorry.
our status hearing is on July 12th. Ms. Leon, can you interpret for me on that day? Okay, well, I'm done anyway. So our status hearing is July 12th. Does everybody agree that that can be held via Zoom?
Yes, Your Honor.
I believe. If there's a courtroom available, I have to look at my calendar, but anyway, y'all agree to Zoom. Okay, Mr. Kennedy, Ms. Patrick, thank you for coming. Y'all don't have to testify today. Anytime you don't have to testify, is a good day. We like that. Ms. San Miguel, what do you need?
Judge, can we have a different day than July 12th? Because I'm on vacation in Colombia that day.
Kind of rude of you to go somewhere cool like that. Well, that's Milano Day. Let me,
The 7th through the 13th is when I'm out.
okay.
That Russ would sit in for her, judge, or somebody local.
No, Russ was already appointed. He didn't speak Spanish.
Oh, never mind.
7th to the 3rd, he talked to Miss San Miguel about that. Okay, everybody take the 12th off your calendar. I'll send some other days around, and Miss Leon, I'm gonna include you on that email, and everybody just respond on when you're available. County Attorney, y'all keep up with the responses so we know what day that's a status hearing on, okay?
Yes, ma'am.
The only other day, I mean, I could do it on the 18th, but Mr. Rogers, your office is, Angelica's gone, your office is gonna have to help with Zoom that day.
I can do the afternoon on the 18th, judge.
I could do any time on the 18th and we'll cover from Angelica, Your Honor.
Next hearing, July 18th via Zoom at 3 o'clock. Okay, good luck, Mr. Juarez. Hope you can get out. Hope you get out of jail. Everybody. Gilmore is our new caseworker. Wave, Miss Gilmore. Okay, and that's who we're gonna be working with. Okay. Thank you. Good luck.